Hey y'all, it's Lindsey and this is Wellness Wednesday week 5. Alright, let's start with the scale. Last week I weighed in at 144.4 pounds and this week I weighed in at 143.6 pounds, which is really exciting. That is a 0.8 pound loss. And for 143.6 is the last weight that I was before we found out that we were pregnant with Lauren. So it's like I'm back to my pre-pregnancy weight. Yay! And I wouldn't mind going down to the mid 130s. But at the same time, I said it in Wellness Wednesday week 1. I'm not willing to do that at the expense of my milk supply, so I'm not going to sweat that too terribly much. If I can just kind of hang it right here, I'm going to be pretty content. Back in October of 2015, we moved from Alaska to Wisconsin, and we kind of had this weird transition period where we were living in a fully furnished lake house for a few weeks while we were house hunting. And so all of our stuff was packed up in our trailer, and I didn't have access to all my normal kitchen stuff. So we did a lot of just like junk food, processed food, kind of thing. And it was not good. And I packed on some more pounds, and I found some pictures of myself, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I know why I didn't feel so good. I was definitely feeling sluggish. I was in a huge sugar addiction. And then in January of 2016, we went to the Great Wolf Lodge down in the Wisconsin Dells, and putting on a swimsuit after having packed on a few pounds was just really uncomfortable. A few years before that, I had gone through and tried out the Nourishing Traditions way of eating, so traditional food preparation lifestyle with the grinding of the wheat and doing kefir and doing kombucha and trying out sourdough and just sprouting grains and just all of the traditional food preparation stuff that the Weston A. Price Foundation recommends. And I loved doing that. That was super fun for me. And I still actually practice quite a few of those pieces of the Weston A. Price Foundation recommendations, but I do it in a THM way. But I know I heard about Trim Healthy Mama back at the very beginning, whenever they were like, probably about when the first book came out. I saw it on Pinterest everywhere, and I was like, yeah, that's nice, but I'm doing the Weston A. Price thing right now. And I was not losing weight, but I was also nursing Molly at the time, so I didn't really care about losing weight. But I wasn't concerned with it. I was just more concerned about like, oh, I want to do traditional food preparation. And then in Alaska, I didn't really do anything specific to try to lose weight. I had heard about Trim Healthy Mama and I had dismissed it. I did start using the Singing Canary when we lived in Alaska because I was very concerned about adrenal health and the whole vitamin C thing. Just how much vitamin C was in that really intrigued me. So I did start using a few THM things here and there. But for the most part, it was like standard American diet, traditional food preparation diet, just not caring so much about the sugars and the glucose and all that stuff. And then in January of 2016, wow, I have been all over the place here. I'm so sorry. January of 2016, I watched a video on YouTube, and it was like 50 minutes long, and it was Pearl and Serene at some church at a women's conference, and they stood up and they kind of gave you like a rundown of their story, and they also started to explain what their program was and what an e-meal was, what an S-meal was, what Fuel Pool was, how they came to develop it, I guess. So I watched this and I'm like, this sounds really interesting. I remember hearing about it. I remember seeing Pinterest pins all over the place for the past few years, and I've been doing this Singing Canary thing. Maybe I need to give these ladies another, more thorough look. So I told Jared about this on our drive home, and he and I are really good at challenging one another and really kind of like spurning one another on to do better, I guess would be the best way to say that. And so I I basically pitched him Trim Healthy Mama and said, I really want to buy the book. And he said, you know what? If you're really committed to this, then you're not going to need the book. You're going to figure this out for yourself. And if you have the book, you're going to wind up setting it aside and forgetting about it and not doing anything. And then it'll be wasted money. And after having thought about that for a few minutes, I realized that's pretty much true. I would pick up hobbies and I would buy all the stuff for a hobby and then I would mess around with it for a few months and then I would set it down. And occasionally I would come back and revisit it every now and again. But for the most part, that's the way it was. Like I would collect all of the stuff to do a hobby and then I would lose interest. So I basically felt challenged to figure it out myself. And I thought, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to figure it out myself and I'm going to just do it. And there were enough resources on Pinterest for me to be able to do that. I started at the end of January 2016 and by the second week of doing it, I had dropped 14 pounds. Now, I'm sure a lot of that was water weight, but 14 pounds in half a month is amazing. And I noticed that I have TMJ disorder. I don't have enough cartilage between my two mandibles to cushion, the stress that you put on your jaw whenever you talk a lot, because I do that. But I had a lot of inflammation in what little bit of cartilage that I've got there. And I noticed that my jaw wasn't hurting as much. And I noticed that I just wasn't feeling so creaky and squeaky in all my joints. And the whole like not eating sugar thing helps to reduce your inflammation. And so it really started to click with me. Oh, sugar has been my problem this whole time. Sugar's in like everything. And so getting rid of that just totally shifted my mind. It shifted my outlook on food. And it really just like helped me to hone in on what it is that makes my body feel healthy and what makes me feel energized and how I can be my best self, honestly. And Jared, he did not do this with me to begin with. I started making Trim Healthy Mama meals, but adding in the carbs. Like I would make an S meal or a fuel pull meal of like, say, chicken. There's a cilantro lime chicken that I make a lot. And then I would add on a carb for the girls and Jared, whether it was a pasta or a rice or a potato or what have you. And Jared started to notice that this was really working for Lindsey. And I remember him saying, well, why do I have to have rice? You're not having that. Why do I have to have it? I said, oh, you don't. I was just trying not to rock the boat. I was trying not to force this lifestyle on you. So he decided that, well, I don't really want to eat the rice or the pasta or the potatoes because I see that this is working for you. And so he hopped on board with me. And we did start to notice that we were only eating S meals, and I researched what that was and discovered that that was nutritional ketosis. So we did that for a while, and that worked out beautifully. But then whenever I got pregnant, I had stalled, honestly, right before Christmas time of 2016. I had stalled on keto. And I feel like that's what happens to women in general whenever you're trying to limit your carbs so much for so long. Our hormone systems are totally different than men's hormones. It's like I was never really nourishing my adrenals or anything that was really supporting my female hormones. And so I stalled. I think that's kind of common on a keto diet for women. But then I got pregnant and I got to thinking about it and I was like, you know what? Keto is not sustainable for me while pregnant. I have rough pregnancies, but I started looking back to Trim Healthy Mama, honestly, because I knew that for me to have a strong milk supply, I needed those carbohydrates. I never lacked for milk with Caitlin and Molly because I was eating a ton of oatmeal. I was eating a ton of whole grains. I was just, I was a whole grain Jane, probably. That's probably what it was. I'm sorry if my voice sounds really tired, y'all. It's late in the evening and I'm trying to get this recorded for tomorrow, and Lauren keeps waking up and being unhappy about life, and I'm wearing down. So please forgive my voice. I knew Trim Healthy Mama was going to be what I wanted to do because I did not want to go back to eating sugar the way that I did before Trim Healthy Mama. And I knew keto was not sustainable for me because of what I witnessed with my own plateau. My body was starting to show me that it was not working for me anymore. But Trim Healthy Mama has a more balanced approach. And so Jared still eats in a low carb keto kind of way. And I eat in a Trim Healthy Mama kind of way. And I'm really steering my girls to Trim Healthy Mama more because they do need those crossovers. And the two, they're different, but they work together really nicely. So the long and the short of it is this. I was really unhappy with my body. I really was. And I was challenged by Jared to figure out Trim Healthy Mama on my own. And we did. I should say I did. And then he bought me the books. And then it was just kind of like, I just gained more and more momentum after that. And I genuinely think that Trim Healthy Mama is the way I will continue to eat for quite some time. So if all of my digressions managed to make any sense at all, we're going to try to land it right here. Ultimately, I love Trim Healthy Mama, and it plays really well with keto, with Jared being on keto, and it really works well for our family. I've got lots of Trim Healthy Mama videos on this channel. I've also got some homeschooling stuff and, doing this Wellness Wednesday thing. And, that, that about sums it up because clearly like the whole mom thing is not happening right now. Thank you so much for watching. If you are a subscriber, I really do have such a heart for y'all. I'm very grateful for you. And if you haven't yet subscribed, I really hope that you will consider it and check out the channel and see if it's something that might interest you, and hang around and we'll keep this conversation going. I'll see y'all in the next Wellness Wednesday. Bye.